Bear down, Chicago Bears. It wouldn't be the Chicago Bears if it wasn't for drama. And we've got a little bit of drama this morning with Jaylen Johnson making a statement about his future in Chicago. And let's break it down quite simply because he made it clear that he really wants to be in Chicago, but they're going to have to pay him what he's worth on the open market for him to stay. Now, if you like this type of content, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Helps me out tremendously. Make sure you hit the like button. That trends me in the algorithm. And then hit the bell to be notified of future content. And I'll be giving you news each and every day with little bites of the Chicago Bears. So, breaking this down, Jaylen Johnson says, my heart's definitely in Chicago. Mind is definitely on the money. This guy graded out as 90.8 on the PFF as the top in the league. However, he was tied with Sauce Gardner in the final rankings. So the nod, if you will, was given to Sauce Gardner, but that basically means it's a tie, meaning that Jaylen Johnson grades out as the best cornerback in the league. Jaylen Johnson is an elite defensive player in this league. We know it. We see the product on the field every single day. What we're looking for now is, can Jaylen Johnson be re-signed by the Chicago Bears? And listen, it looks like, because this conversation came out just a few months back, Johnson said, I want to stay here. I definitely want to get something done here first. But at the end of the day, if something doesn't get done, then I'm not opposed to any other options, but I would love to stay here. So that's that. Look, repeatedly, Jaylen Johnson has said to anybody who would listen, he wants to be a Chicago Bears. So Ryan Poles has himself a conundrum here because it's going to cost roughly, Sports Track did an analysis earlier, and they say that it's going to cost about $17 million or more per year to sign someone of the caliber of Jaylen Johnson. Now, the question to this is he worth it? Now, the answer to that is absolutely and unequivocally yes. Jaylen Johnson is worth that money. However, do the Bears have it? Well, Bears are projecting to have about $63 million in cap space, currently sitting at $46 million, but it's pretty clear that Cody Whitehair and maybe even Eddie Jackson are going to be released. And if that's the case, then that means that they're going to free up just a little bit more. That would give them the option to sign, expect about 15 or 20 million in the draft, 9 million for the first overall pick, 7 million if you trade down to number 3, and then about 4 million for that number 9 pick, plus everybody else that gets added into that payroll. So you've got some options. You can pass that like Stockton. But what you are looking at right now is Jaylen Johnson. Jaylen Johnson, elite athlete, an elite player, one of the best cornerbacks, grading out as the premier cornerback in this league. And are you going to keep him? Ryan Poles, you are on the clock. Now, guys, if Jaylen Johnson is not kept, the same as Justin Fields, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people. We see the product on the field, and some of us like what Jaylen Johnson does. Some of us love what Jaylen Johnson does, and Jaylen Johnson himself loves the city of Chicago. So this is a deal that needs to be made. Now, my opinion is this deal does get made. This is somebody very important to the Chicago Bears, somebody very important to the city. And I do think that because of his performance, because he's shown himself to be an elite player, that he will get re-signed. The question that you would ask at this point would be, would Jaylen Johnson take a hometown discount in order to stay in Chicago? The answer to that is no. He's not going to take a discount in order to stay in Chicago. This is your one chance to make the biggest deal and the best deal that you can make in order to live the rest of your life, so to speak. So he's going to get the maximum amount. Now, it is also possible that after signing this agreement, getting a large signing bonus, that maybe, just maybe, he will rework his contract later on a few years down the road to provide some cap space and relief if needed. So even if he does get this gigantic contract, maybe things change. And I would think that a guy who wants to be here would provide the team with some flexibility. So later on, Jaylen Johnson is the guy. So I think that basically means that Ryan Poles, you are on the clock. You got to figure this deal out. You got to get us feeling real good about this situation real soon. We've put our trust in you. We've put our faith in Ryan Poles, and he's not let us down so far. Let's forget about Chase Claypool. The rest of it, it's been pretty good. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. And thank you so much for tuning in. And Jaylen Johnson, we'll see you next year.